Okay, so let's get started. This first 2 to the 5R series, which I'll call the Rico 2 to the 5R series. This is where we're gonna start. First, it's very important, especially for this 2 to the 5R series, to always start at the same starting position, which is gonna be around the middle of the goal. So you want to start with the ball around here, and what you want to do is you want to backpin the ball. So, you know, maybe in another tutorial I'll show you techniques on how to backpin the ball, but it's very important that you know how to backpin it, and always start from this position. That's our starting position. Okay, once we're in this backpin position, the first pass that you want to do is going to be a brush down. So the main passes out of this series are going to be a brush down and a brush up, and once we do those passes, I'll show you a couple of variations that are added to this series to make it more effective. Okay, so first thing we want to do, we're going to do our brush down, and we want to do it around this this spot right here where this line is. And one very important thing that we need to do is once you backpin the ball, you want to start moving the ball, but as soon as you move the ball, notice what I'm going to do with this guy is I'm going to bring it real fast to meet the ball and to start hovering on top of the ball. And that's a very important thing that needs to happen if you want this series to be more effective. So I move the ball. If I go back to my starting position, notice how I'm bringing this guy very fast to meet the ball. Okay, the next option is the brush to the lane. Again, you want to start from this middle position, have a good backpin, start the motion towards the wall, have this guy come meet the ball as fast as possible, be on top of it, hover, let the ball roll towards this spot on the table, and as soon as you feel that you have a good spot to brush, do a nice deep brush. This second guy on the 5R should be coming out and meeting the ball fairly deep, so that you can do a nice deep pass. So this is what it should look like. It doesn't have to be super fast, but you know, obviously the crisper that you could pass, it's going to make it more effective. Okay, so those are the 2 basic passes that should comprise most of the passes that you do when you're doing this Rico 2 to the 5R series. Obviously those are not the only 2 options, but you should be trying to work those most of the time. And then these next options that I'm going to show you are good options that will pretty much like establish passes that you're going to get through a lot of the time, because it's going to catch your opponent off guard. So this next option, it's a really great pass that mixes in with this series, and that's the really good thing about starting your 2 to the 5 from this pin position, because this pass works really well off of this back pin position. So what you do is, again, start same position, back pin. You start your movement, and what you're going to do is, as soon as you start the movement, instead of bringing this guy and hovering as you typically do with your brush up and down, you're going to have this guy move the ball and then immediately go into a wall pass. So it's almost like doing a hesitation wall pass from this position. So this is what it looks like, and it's an awesome pass to get somebody and catch somebody off guard. So again, like that. So it's a really nice, crisp, fast pass. And if you've been working your passes, you know, with this motion of getting here, working the 2 to the 5 that way, you know, at the time that you do it, then it's really going to catch somebody off guard, because they're not going to be expecting, you know, that really fast movement to go all the way up against the wall. Which the only way they can catch it is if, you know, if they're sitting and they're camping this wall pass. Most likely that won't happen. Obviously, you don't want to try to abuse this pass, because then somebody will just camp the wall there. And so it's a really great option to have. Okay, this next option is the most difficult pass in this series, and it takes a long time to try to master, to do it correctly. And so, you know, if you're not comfortable with that one, it's like stick to doing the other 3 passes. That's good enough to do a good 2 to the 5R series. But you really want to have this pass, because it's kind of a tough pass to stop anyways when you do it, you know, correctly. And if you ever watch Collignon play, he uses this pass a lot, and he gets it through most of the time. And the times that he doesn't, it just goes back to him and tries it again, and, you know, then will usually succeed. This is a quick lane, but this lane pass is happening right at the corner of the goal, and this middle guy is the one that's catching it. So it's, you know, if you can visualize it, it's gonna be an angle. So it's a brush through the lane, having this middle guy come out to meet the ball and catch it. With this one, and so the reason why I was saying earlier for the other passes, when you start the motion, the reason why you want to bring this guy as quickly as you can to start hovering is so that you can sell this pass right here. Because what you're gonna do is as soon as you move it, you're gonna bring this guy and then brush. But you don't, you know, you're not gonna have to hover on top of the ball. It's mainly a runner pass that you're doing. So it's moving the ball, having that guy come and brush the ball all in one motion. So in real time should look like this, something like that. I mean, you can do it a little bit faster. If you watch Collignon, it's almost one motion. It's so smooth. It just goes like that, and then brush is obviously a lot faster than that, but it's a great pass. You really have to just be into really warmed up, and you have to have done your other passes to get that timing, but it's a great pass. Okay, the last option that I would say comprises this 2 to the 5R series is it's basically, you know, you go into your same motion. You're gonna try to sell doing your passes, your brush down, up, you know, go back, set it up, and try to sell one of your other passes. But what you're gonna do on this one is, as soon as you feel that your opponent is completely sold on you passing in this area, is when you go here, you're gonna bring the ball and then brush it down and have the ball go right into this guy. So what will happen is, your defender is typically gonna be either following the ball when the ball comes this way, which is gonna give you this nice lane here. So if you go something like this, okay, there's 3 additional things I wanted to mention to end this tutorial, and these are general things about 2 to the 5R series. And the first one is that the great thing about doing a 2 to the 5R series is that if the defender is all the way up against the wall and you happen to do a brush down, you see that it still gets through. So that's one of the great things, that even if somebody thinks that they're going to be able to block your wall passes, any type of wall pass, by camping the wall, that's not true when you brush down, because you have a deep angle. Sometimes people think that, especially people who don't really know how to defend the 2 to the 5, when you do it, and they, especially as soon as you go to that brush down, people have a tendency to overreact and go all the way up against the wall. Your brush down will still get through, and they'll think that it's probably, you probably got lucky, but that's because you have the understanding that you can still brush when this guy is against the wall. That was one thing, so you can apply that pass if you see somebody just camping the wall. The other thing that's important is that, you know, it's not you're not always going to be able to have the perfect spot to do your pass on the first time. So it's going to take you a while to, you know, go back, set up again. And so one of the other techniques is that you don't necessarily always have to go back to this pin position. You can start the motion and then have this guy keep the movement going so that it's still a legal pass, and as soon as you feel that you have a good spot, then you can go to your brush up or brush down. So again, you know, if you didn't want to go to your pin position just because, you know, maybe you're running out of time, or you know, you've set it up a few times and you just, you know, kind of want to hurry up, you're going like that. You have that guy and this guy, and then you can brush up or down. So that's another technique that you could do. And then the third and last thing, which you can always add, is, you know, if you go here, it goes too far, you can use the wall. And the great thing is you have unlimited wall, so, you know, you can go bounce off the wall, you know, wait for it to come down, use this technique again to, you know, to get it to the spot that you want. And then you do your pass. Again, you know, for the next tutorial, that is more of the way Tony Spritterman does his 2 to the 5 hour series, which is mainly like doing a lot of wall fakes and just bouncing off the wall. That's when you want to do that. It's not necessarily needed for this series, but, you know, you can still use that to reset the ball, you know, and get back to your to the position that you like to pass. So that's it. Have fun, enjoy it, try it out. Good luck.